One and only GM. Happy Halloween. Almost Halloween soon. You heard? We got the Halloween drip on. You heard? So yeah, man. I want to make a video similar to what TMM and others have made, and it's basically what characters in Tekken 8 for the next season I think should be nerfed or buffed. Disclaimer: this is just my opinion. I know a lot of you guys go kind of just crazy every time I do like a take a sign or say something about the game, and y'all just be wilding out. One, this is just my opinion, so you can have a different opinion than me, and that's fine. You don't need to throw no insults. You don't need to tell me I don't know nothing about Tekken, because most likely I know more about Tekken than you. I've been playing in tournament for like 16 years, so we don't need to get into it like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna eat your crayons by yourself. You heard? Not everybody likes crayons like you. So yeah, man, let's start this video off with the first character we're gonna talk about is Armor King. And I'm gonna give my insights on Armor King. Most people think Armor King is bad because he has to play exactly like a Tekken 7 character. He has to play like, traditional Tekken, and for some reason a lot of people think that's a bad thing in Tekken 8. He does have Tekken 8 mechanics, but he has to play a little bit more solid, spacing and turtling and things of that nature. The thing with Armor King is that when they make him good, he becomes way too good. I think he's almost, in this game, he's almost at the level where he should be. I don't really necessarily think he needs a lot of buffs. I think they could just make him a little bit better, but not to the point that he's like Tekken 7 or Tag 2 or Tekken 6 Armor King. I think at this time, he's probably one of those characters that every other character should be like. Like, he got heat mechanics, but it's not like, casino all day in your face. I think more characters should be like that in the game. So he's like, kind of one of those characters that he's in a situation where other characters should be like him. So I don't necessarily think he needs a lot of buffs. I think everybody should be more like him. The characters I'll put in his category of characters that are good but not overly broken or casino, I'll put Armor King, I'll put Lee, I'll put Azucena. Who else could be in that category? I think probably Steve, right? Nina, Shaheen. Like, those characters are still like overly, like, you still got to be solid to play with them. I'll put Heihachi there too. I know a lot of you guys go crazy over Warrior Instinct, but Heihachi still got to play a solid Tekken game, even though he does do a lot of damage, but he still got to play good Tekken. So yeah, Armor King, maybe he could use a little bit of buffs, but more characters should be like him. Eddie, as of late, a lot of people have been doing really good with him in tournament, but I think it's because Eddie is just a good tournament character. His 50-50s are extremely good. His casino is extremely good. Everything, of course, is like big risk all the time, but it doesn't really matter when, you get hit one time, you go in the heat, you got to eat a 50-50 all day. Because no matter how good you are, a mix-up is a mix-up. You're going to guess wrong, you're going to get mixed up. So he's really good at mixing people up. He's a great 50-50 character. I think he fits the meta of the game extremely well. Obviously, in longer sets, he could struggle because of how unsafe he is. He has to take risk all the time, but, 50-50 is a 50-50. So that's why I kind of find it strange that a lot of people were saying that Eddie Gordo was low tier and this and that. But I'm like, bro, like a mix-up is a mix-up. And he puts you in a lot of mix-ups once he hits you with moves. Obviously, he's one of the issues with Tekken 8 where you have to guess too much in a lot of situations. So I think for the game to be more balanced, somebody like Eddie will have to nerf the casino on him and make it so you could like not have to guess so much when you get hit by stuff. So I would nerf him in the sense that everybody else with the same casino should be nerfed. But as of now in the game, I think he's fine. He kind of needs it. I think without the 50-50 casinos, he's kind of bad. Like, he lives and dies by the 50-50. So for this meta, I think the way he is just fine. Obviously, if they want to make the game better, they're going to have to nerf his 50-50s along with everybody else. Claudio, he got nerfed, but he's still, like, kind of too strong. I think that Shoryuken, high crushing, low crush, safe on block nonsense needs to get nerfed. for sure. And I think sidestep 4 should be more punishable. I think sidestep 4 is way too safe. And I think his hop kick is still too strong. It high crushes sometimes, and it also low crushes sometimes. I think overall and in general, he's way too safe, and there's not a lot of risk involved in him. So there's a couple of nerfs I will do to him, but I will nerf him a little bit more. Like, I still think he's a little bit too strong. His damage output is too high, and he has too many safe launchers like that can open the joint. And Starburst is too strong. That thing should be punishable. I don't think any character should just have safe launches they could throw out like that. But yeah, he's a weird one. He's a weird one, but he fits the meta of the game perfectly. But yeah, he could definitely use some changes. She's super underrated, man. She's really cheap. She's one of the few characters in the game that has a like really good backdash and movement, so she could get away from a lot of 50-50 heat dash mix-ups that other characters can't, just because of her backdash and movement is so good. Another thing too, her back one into Spirit Bomb explosion is way too good. That's like a half screen, that's like almost a mid-screen wall splat. It wall splats you from so far. It's like plus, it's really plus on block, right? So, and she crushes a lot really well. She's extremely hard to deal with. So she's a weird character. Like, people rank her low, but I think she's a lot better than what people think. And her casino is really good. Like, a lot of her mid options in casino mode are safe on block. So she's a big 50-50 character. Her defensive options is good with her, you know, her backdash, her parry move. Down 3 is a great high crush. Her sidestep 2 guarantees a mini combo on counter hit. So she's extremely strong. I know most people, they say that she's nerfed already, but I think she's really good, and I would definitely nerf some things about her. I think her punch parry is way too good, and it sticks out for too long. And her Spirit Bomb move needs to get nerfed. I don't think she should have something like that she could just throw off from like half screen. Like, she could do the homing move into that and all types of stuff. So she has a lot of silly stuff. I think for the meta, she would be considered balanced, but she's still one of the better characters in the game. Paul Phoenix is another strange one. A lot of people don't think he's that great just because you gotta play some sort of Tekken with him. But the thing with Paul is that he only needs to play a little bit of Tekken till he hits you. And once he hits you, he goes into Tekken 8 mode. So that's why I can't really agree that he's one of the weaker characters or bad. Because, yeah, he needs to play Tekken a little bit. But, you know, once he hits you, it's casino time. And also, if he hits you, you're kind of dead. He does half-life off of almost everything. And his punishment is really good. You can't afford to make a lot of mistakes on Paul. So, I just think in general, he's really strong. His casino is OD. His punishment is OD. Because he's almost a perfect character. Obviously, his weakness is that his poking isn't as good. He can't really, like, play, like, completely safe. Like, he has to take risk, but I feel like in heat, it covers everything up because his heat is too good. He has that new double palm move in heat. He has the great heat smash as -13 now. He used to be -12 before. Death in heat. So he's another one that's pretty underrated. If I were to nerf anything about him, I think his damage, obviously his damage is not fine. But that's what makes Paul, his damage, right? So it's kind of hard to balance him, honestly. I wouldn't really buff him. I'll probably just leave him alone. You know? Because he's not really struggling. But he's not, like, legitimately better than everybody else, neither. Like, he's just Paul, right? So, you know, obviously, if they nerf the casino in the game, it's gonna make him worse. Because I feel like he has to really... Like, his casino is what makes him extremely strong besides his punishment. So... If the casino goes, he's going to be low on the tier list. Raven is another interesting character. He has to rely on gimmicks a lot. And a lot of his strength comes from while standing 1, I believe. And counter hit. The elbow, I think it's while standing 2, while standing 1. I don't know the notation. But yeah. And his casino is pretty risky. Obviously, it's hard to block. Because it's a pure 50-50 with the quicksand, spin a Rooney low, and everything else. But it's just a lot of gimmicks. I do feel like he's strong. He does good damage. I feel like he was better in other seasons. Last season he was a bit better. I think he was top tier. Now he's a little bit easier to deal with. Because I remember season 1 he was really hard to fight. Now is a little bit easier to deal with. He's still pretty good. But he's another character that I feel like he's in a good spot. Like, he's not completely broken, but he's also not weak. And he has his weaknesses, you know. He's pretty unsafe, and he has to rely on flowcharts a lot to beat you. So he's another character that I feel like is kind of balanced. Would I nerf anything about him? Probably the range on his heat smash. I think his heat smash is kind of OD. Into the Raven clones or whatever, that thing is still really good. They did nerf it by you being able to sidewalk it, but in general, I wouldn't really nerf anything about him, to be honest with you. I think he's kind of like fine. Victor is another one. Like, he was super cheap before, and now he's a little bit more bearable to fight. I still think he's one of the better characters in the game. Obviously, his weakness is that his poking is pretty unsafe, and he kind of has to loop, like, his main game was just hitting you or running too, and like looping you with stuff. That's his main game. And obviously after a while that could become kind of flowchart. What I would nerf, I think his jumping slash and his stance shouldn't be a homing move. I would nerf that. You should be able to sidewalk that. So I would just nerf his casino, because that's his strength. Like, he has to do that. I think if he wouldn't be in certain situations where you will have to, that he puts you in a casino situation, you have to just sit there and guess all day, he'll be a lot more of a Tekken character. But since he has that, and he has like tracking homing moves, and you know, his whole stance thing just makes you just sit there and guess, like, it's really cheap. I'll probably lower the plus frames and stuff to make it so he's more of a traditional Tekken character. I feel once he hits you with running too, he doesn't have to think. He could kind of just keep going ham on you, especially with the running, you know, running low and then mix it up with running too. Like, obviously his weakness is that you could sidewalk him to some extent, and if you guess right, you can punish him really hard. I also think his parry is way too good. I think parry's like everything, and I think Expectation is too good in Heat also. So, you know, but in general, he's not like too OD, but he could use a couple of, like, a little bit of nerfs, I think. Reina, she's mad unsafe, and then she has to rely on the casino while taking big risk every time. You know me, I don't really think she's that great, and I think she could use some kind of buffs. Probably make her poking a little bit safer, so she won't have to rely on risking her whole life bar all the time. So that's what I'll do. I'll make her a little bit safer so she could poke you without taking big risk all the time. I think her biggest weakness is that for her to play a mind game, she has to risk her life every single time just to play a small mind game at you. And then her mind game isn't really that hard to deal with, because unlike Victor, once he hits you a running too, you gotta guess, because he got the homing move high, and then he got the short Yukin into follow up, and then he got the short Yukin by itself. It's a lot of guessing. With her, you don't need to guess as much, because running two, you could just step that really easily, and then the follow ups are kind of easy to deal with compared to Victor. And her lows are not as good as Victor either. So yeah, she could definitely use some kind of buffs or something. Like, she's not really that great. I think if this game were balanced, she would be like one of those characters like Paul, and you know, the balanced character like Army King and stuff like that. But in general, I think she's a regular Tekken character. Like, she's balanced. She got strengths and weaknesses. I think Reina's another character that more characters in the game should be like. So this game could be like perfectly balanced and perfectly a Tekken game. I think every character should have strengths and weaknesses. Like, the issue with this game is that the best characters in this game don't have no weaknesses. But she's a balanced character, and she definitely has weaknesses you could take advantage of. So I think she's in a good position, and more characters should be like her. But in general, if they're not going to fix this game, then you could buff her a little bit. Asucena's another one. She was way too good in season 1, and they nerfed her and made her into more of a casino character. The thing with Asucena is that her casino is cheap, but isn't as cheap as everybody else. She gotta kind of like keep looping you. It's not like if you guess wrong doing her casino one time, you die. It's kind of just like the flipping your head, and then, you know, you eat the low. But then if you block the low, you can launch her. So yeah, man, she's weird. She's like a Tekken 8 character mixed with like a Tekken character. Like, yeah, she got a cheap casino that you got to keep guessing, and then her stance auto parries highs and lows, and then she has, you know, a good ass high crushes, and then she got the reversal high crushes. Yeah, then she got a good armor. Then she got the running 1-3-2 joint that she go into stance, and then her back turn stuff is pretty good. So it's like she's a weird character. Like, she's not super overwhelming, but she could be kind of annoying to fight just because of her crushes, and her plus frames allow her to play, you know, casino a good amount. It's just that, you know, her casino and stuff, is a lot more bearable than, let's say, like Victor or somebody like that. Like once she starts rushing you down, you know, there's stuff you could do about it. You know, you could kind of play frames with her and stuff like that. So she's another one. I think she's good. I don't think she's low tier like people say, because like I said, she could play solid Tekken and she could play Tekken 8, because she could put you in a vortex. You know, she could put you in a vortex. Her new transition after running 3-2 and her stances allow her to be able to plus frame you a little bit more. Obviously, her weakness is that she has to kind of keep looping you with it. And another thing, like if you guess right, you could hurt her really hard. And I feel like if you play really good defense against her, it's kind of hard for her to open you up, right? Down 4 is -14, right? And then, you know, her other pokes, she has to do it into like back turn and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard for her to open you up. But you gotta be solid. You gotta play Tekken with her. So she's kind of like in the Army King sense, but she has a better casino than Army King. So that's why I say, like, a character like her, it's kind of hard to balance, because if they make her too good, she's gonna end up being like season 1, and we don't want her to be like season 1. So honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I'll probably just leave her alone and just balance everybody else, because I think she's good, but you know, she's like one of those characters that has enough weaknesses to make her feel like you fighting against a Tekken character. Shaheen, I think he's really cheap, but he has to play like a solid Tekken game. I think the cheapest thing about him still is his guard break. I think his guard break is mad silly, and I just think having a knockdown slide in a game like this is kind of OD, especially when he already has a guard break. His while standing 1 is one of the best counter hits in the game. I think that move is way too good, because if you block it, he could play mind games with a -2, and then if you get hit on counter hit, he gets a guaranteed string afterwards. And then his heat engages are mad good. And then he has like 3 heat smashes, right? So in general, he's cheap. You just gotta work a little bit harder than everybody else, because his damage output isn't as high as other characters, but he's still mad cheap. So he's another one that he's almost balanced. I would honestly, to make him more balanced, I'll take out that guard break, to be real with you. I don't think he need that. If he didn't have that guard break, I think he'll be more of just a solid Tekken character. But that guard break is the main problem with him. Other than that, you know, he got his weaknesses and stuff, you know what I'm saying? He got to really fight you and poke you up and stuff like that. But having that guard break makes it a lot easier for him to open you up and scramble you. So that's the one thing I will nerf about him. And I think that that sidestep move is way too good also. I think that's a bit overtuned. I think that move should be like -6 or 7 on block. I don't think that thing should be that good of a frames. You know, that joint that he be like La Machina. So he's cheap. He's really cheap. So those are the things I'll nerf about him. But other than that, I think he's he's almost a normal Tekken character, but not really, just because of those 2 moves. I think Lars top 10 in the game. He definitely needs some nerfs. I think he's way too good. Having a slide into Nunchaku is way too good. His heat is broken. 10 frame counter hit and heat into full combo with the 1-1-1. Safe 1+2 Nunchaku and heat. That's a full combo. His punch parry is way too good, because he goes straight into heat, and then while he in heat, he get a little mini combo. His counter hit game is way too good. He gets too much guarantee stuff. His plus frames is way too good, with the Wasane 4 into jab pressure, and then 4-1+2 into DSS. He's a perfect character, I think. He kind of has like no weaknesses, so he definitely needs to get nerfed. I think he's like a perfect Tekken 8 character. Like, he could play solid Tekken, and then he could just random you out if he wants to. So yeah, he needs some nerfs for sure. He's way too overtuned. Leroy is cheap in his own sense, because his parry is mad cheap, but he's way too flowchart, and like a lot of his stuff is mad risky. But he has potential to be mad annoying. He just has to play way too much flowchart. I think his mind game is kind of simple, and there's like not a lot to it. You feel what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say, he's kind of predictable. He's another character, if they make him too good, he'll probably end up like being like a Tekken 7 character. But if you want to be honest with you, I think he's fine. I think like I said, a Tekken character should have strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, his strengths is that his parry is really good, and all his lows is unseeable and stuff like that. And his punishment is not that bad, and he got a good counter hit game and chip damage game. So I would just leave him alone, honestly. Leo, Leo's another one. Leo is like a solid Tekken character. She does a lot of damage. She got good 50-50s. But you know, she has like obvious weaknesses and stuff. Obviously, her damage is a bit too high, I feel like. Like, she's kind of like characters like Shaheen and Lee and stuff like that have a lot of tools that can play Tekken, but her damage is too high. So maybe I'll like lower her damage just a little bit. But other than that, I think, you know, she's one of those characters that's kind of like a Tekken character. One that has strengths and weaknesses. And in Tekken, it's great to have strengths and weaknesses. Her weaknesses, obviously, she's kind of slow, so it's kind of hard for her to play neutral. And I feel like kind of her lows are kind of telegraphed a little bit. It's kind of hard for her to open you up. You know, she has to kind of go meat out on you to open you up a lot. Lydia, I know a lot of people say Lydia's broken, and it's mostly because of her heat. Outside of heat, she's not really that good, but she's one of those characters that really fits the Tekken A system, as heat really improves her drastically. Really drastically. So when she's in heat, she's like top 3 in the game. Outside of heat, you know, she's bearable. So that's what kind of balances her out a little bit. But like I said, like the heat is kind of overwhelming, and you kind of start the match with heat already. So I think for her to get more balance, they probably need to change the way heat is. Because, you know, if they nerf her heat, she's going to be kind of unusable. But like her heat is so strong to the point that it doesn't really matter that she's weak without heat. Because without heat, like down 2 -14, down back 4, her knockdown a little low, launch punishable. So like she has to take big risks to poke you up, you know. But you know, her heat is so powerful that it don't matter, bro. She got the guard break. She could break your armor and your heat burst while she's in heat. That joint is just casino. So she's a weird one, man. She's a really weird one. I think the only way to truly balance her is to make it so you have to earn heat. That's what they need to do. But they could still nerf her heat a little bit, so you won't have to guess so much. Maybe lower the plus frames and stuff so you can sidestep a little bit more. Because she already has a homie move in heat. So it doesn't like, it's kind of weird to me that they give her so much plus when she already has a homie move in heat. You know? But yeah, she's OD. Heihachi, I know y'all complain about Warrior Instinct, but he got to work to get into that. Which is why a lot of Heihachi players don't do super duper good with him. Like, he's strong, but he got to work. So, Heihachi in general, I think he's just a solid Tekken character, honestly. You know, his weaknesses is that he got to hit you a lot. Not a lot, but he got to hit you to set up something, to go into stance to really 50-50 you. He's not like other characters that he could just put you in a casino vortex and cook you. Like, he has to go in the stance and mix up his unbreakable throw and then guard break. And, you know, he got to play real Tekken. So I think he's fine. Only thing I will nerf is once he reaches max in Warrior Instinct, he's kind of OD. And I think that guard break got to go. But other than that, I think he's fine. Except those 2 things that I mentioned. Because, like, I do agree that if he hits you one time, you kind of dead. So, but other than that, he's like a solid Tekken character. The bear was super broken, but they nerfed it. So I think the bear is kind of fine now. Before, the bear was like unbearable and way too good. But the bear is way more easy to deal with. So I'll probably just leave him alone. Asuka, she's broken. She needs a lot of nerfs. I think her damage is way too high. Being able to do a spike without finishing her heat is broken. She could do a spike on the wall. She could do a spike in open stage. Down 1+2 is way too fast. Her damage output is way too good. Like, she just gets rewarded for every single thing she does. She got godlike poking with down back 4. Like, she got great punishment from while standing and standing. She take half life off of parries. She got cans back 3. Her heat is way too good with the 4-forward 2, and then the other joint. Like, she got way too many tools. So overall, she needs to get like heavily nerfed. She's way too strong. And I feel like a character like her that's so good defensively shouldn't be so good offensively also. Imagine if Lee was like super godlike at offense like Asuka, even though his like spacing and counter hit game is already really good. So she's basically like the ultimate version of Lee Chalan. Because her and Lee are the same type of characters. The difference with Asuka is that her offense is also OD, and she got knockdown lows and Lee doesn't. Oh, and she could also take your whole life off of parries and Lee can't. So she needs to get nerfed. Lee is in the same space as Armor King. and Heihachi and those characters that I mentioned before, I think he's like perfectly fine. Obviously, in the meta of this game, he would definitely have to use some buffs to be able to compete a little bit more. I think overall, he has to poke a lot. He has to take big risk without getting big rewards for the risk. The only reward Lee gets is if you read a counter hit and get a counter hit timing. But like, that's all of these rewards. All of these rewards are literally from counter hit damage and block punishment. When it comes to him casinoing you, Lee has to make you guess wrong a lot. And obviously, you know, it's risky because slide, launch punishable, and then, you know, a lot of his pokes don't really track. So I feel like to balance him out in this current meta, they will have to make slide knockdown to give Lee some kind of casino to be able to get people to be scared defensively a little bit more. Because without having a strong knockdown low or like a guard break, it makes it so like he has to play too much real Tekken in a game that's not real Tekken. But like I said, if they nerf everybody's plus frames and take off all the crap that everybody else has, then he will be perfectly fine. But if they leave the game the same way it is, he will have to get a little bit more cheaper with the knockdown slide and things like that. That's what I would do. I think she's perfectly fine. I know a lot of Link players complain saying she don't do no damage. She has like really cheap casino with the hypnosis stance. She still has great evasionness, and she still does half-life off of everything. So I think she's a perfect Tekken 8 character. I think she doesn't have any issues. Yeah, they nerfed her a little bit, but she's still bullcrap. So I don't know, man. She could probably use some nerfs, but if they keep the game the same, you know, obviously she has some weaknesses, but she's still definitely not a bad character. Jin is mad good. I still think he does a bit too much damage, and I think his heat smash is a little bit way too strong. In general, he's probably the best Mishima when I think about it. Like he's a lot easier to play than the other ones. He has a lot of crushes, a lot of plus frames, big damage. So he's one of those characters they will have to nerf some of his stuff. I think his heat smash is too good still, and I think his plus frames on like his normal tools outside of heat is too good. So I would probably just nerf his damage, and yeah, man, he'll be more of a normal Tekken character. But he's kind of overtuned. He's still really good. Kazuya, I think the biggest thing that makes him cheap, obviously, is that they made him a bit too easy to play in a game like this. What made Kazuya and Mishimas in general like characters that are like, you know, supposed to be hard to play, it was fine that they were really strong because they were really hard to play. So that means a lot of people couldn't really do all the Kazuya stuff and show the full potential of them. So that's what made it fine with them being real strong. But now that they made it so easy to play that anybody and their mother could play it, even somebody wearing a bread on his head could play it, like that, you know, that kind of takes what a Mishima is. It makes it so anybody could pick up and play. This is the first Tekken game that people that don't main Kazuya could literally just pick him up and get God with him without maining him. And it's because of the tools they gave him. 4-4-2, down 1+2, easy to go into devil mode, and things of that nature. So I think in general, if you want to be real with you, if it wasn't for him being so easy to play, I would say like he's cheap, but at least you gotta work for it, right? But since they made him so scrubby, man, like I don't like that. I honestly think they should make him harder to play like they used to, like he used to be, and not make him so scrubby to the point that anybody can play him. But I think he's mad strong, and yeah, he fits the game. He fits the meta in general really, really good. I would like to balance him. They should just make him harder to play. Honestly, that's what I would do. Down 1+2, I know it got a little bit nerfed, but you know, I think one of the things I will nerf, I think that the hell sweep into Shoryuken into knockdown, a floor break and heat is a bit too much. And I think 4-4-2 is mad cheap, so it's kind of hard to balance him. But I'll balance him out by just making him harder to play. Make it so you have to have more skill to play him. But what makes him cheap is how easier they made him to play. Nina, I think she's perfectly fine. I know people complain about that she's too good and stuff, but you still gotta play full Tekken. Nobody else is doing what they're doing with Nina besides Arslan. So, you know, I would just probably leave her because she's like a traditional Tekken character. I'll probably nerf her damage a little bit, but other than that, she's fine. Hwoarang, they have to nerf his casino, like his down 3-3 into whatever, and then you gotta hold down back and guess the punishment, and then the 10 frame jab heat counter hit combo, and the low guaranteed into combo. Like, he's way too dumb. So yeah, he needs to get nerfed, man. He's mad cheap, and I feel like you don't really need to have a lot of fundamentals to play him. He could kind of just beat you up without even like playing real Tekken. He's a really cheap character, so he definitely needs to get nerfed. But in this meta, he's perfect for the Tekken 8 meta. So if you play in tournaments and you're a Hwoarang player, you have a really good shot at winning. Feng Wei, I know a lot of people kind of underplay him, but he's one of the best characters in the game to me. He's perfect. He could play Tekken and he could play Tekken 8. He does half-life off of parry. His counter hit down back 3 is OD. His down 2 counter hit is still good. So he could poke safely. You can't really pressure him because he got half-life into parry. His back turn mix-ups is mad good. His heat is really good with the back one in heat, wall splatting. And him having a guard break still into back one on the wall. And then the mix-ups. And he's a perfect character. So in general, I don't know, man. I know some people think he need to get buffed, but I think he's a bit too good. So I wouldn't mind if they nerf him a little bit more. You know, if they take away that guard break nonsense and get rid of him being able to parry everything in a full combo, I don't think he should get a full combo off of that parry. I think he should just get like a guaranteed hit. I think him being able to get a full combo off of that Kempo parry is broken. And I think his casino is way too good. He makes you guess too much. He has just way too much. I don't think Feng should have a casino. He don't need a casino. He should always be just a poking character with punish, poking with punish. Like him being able to casino on top of like playing Tekken, on top of the guard break, on top of a full life parry is too much. Yoshimitsu is a lot more balanced in season 2. Like, he gotta rely on parry a lot, and he's a lot more easier to deal with. Obviously, Flash is still annoying, but yeah, I think they starting to balance him a little bit more. I still think his chip damage and heat is a little bit too good, and his heat mechanics are kind of annoying. But you know, he's almost balanced. Maybe a couple of little bit more nerfs, but he's still kind of annoying. But he has weaknesses, so you know, so he's one of those types. So maybe like 1 or 2 nerfs to the Oki, because Oki is way too good. Like if you want, like if a Yoshi plays good enough, you could literally just lose a round by staying on the floor all day and guessing wrong every day. So that's kind of OD. Clive is busted. He has way too much. I think they should make it so he'd be a little bit more bearable when it comes to like his casino with the running too, lower the plus frames. I think his parry is way too good. You know, they should make him whiff, like the whiff window on the parry a lot more. But yeah, overall he's broken. He has too much damage. His install is way too good. So yeah, he needs to get nerfed or just delete off the game. I think Anna's way too good. I think her low should be way more. I know down 4 is still launched, but everything else, all her other lows are way too good and too safe, and they lead into mix-ups. So I don't think you should. You shouldn't have to eat a low and then guess. And then her jab into counter hit stuff is too good too. She shouldn't have no 10 frame counter hit, because she already has 50-50. So why does she have all these like counter hit tools? I don't think it's fair that she has godlike counter hit tools on top of being able to mix you up. That's why she's broken. And then, you know, she got homie moves which cover her side step weaknesses. So she's way too overtuned and she needs to get nerfed. Like, if it was on something that she didn't really have no homie moves and all her lows are launch punishable, then yeah, she'll be a bit more balanced. But this character is very unbalanced. And the thing that she has where, you know, you get chip damage for everything, that gotta go too. The bear, he's fine. They nerfed his ass. So Lili, she's way too overtuned, I think too. She has way too much. She's like a perfect Tekken 8 character. Her damage is way too high. She got godlike movement. She could casino you in 50-50 all day, because everything, you know, her quarter forward 1 nonsense, high crushes, and then you gotta guess with the heat into like +7, and then she got back turn mix-ups. And then if you attack her too much, she could do a high crush, so that she could do the jumping flip in your face. She could crush mids with her moves. There's just too much stuff to worry about her. She's like the perfect character. So I would nerf her a little bit, man. I'll make it so she can't crush mids, and I'll reduce being able to crush everything. I think she crushes way too well. And her damage is way too high, but she's a perfect Tekken 8 character and she needs to get nerfed. The only thing I'll nerf with Alisa is her chainsaws could get nerfed a little bit more. If they nerf her chainsaws a bit more, she'll be more of a regular Tekken 8 character, but she has her weaknesses, but the chainsaws is the biggest issues. So they nerf that, she'll be a lot more bearable. I think Lars is fine now. People still complain about him, but you guess right on him, you body him. He used to be broken because you have to take all the heat mix-ups all the time, but he's not that great no more. I think he's like he's a balanced Tekken 8 character, so I will leave him alone. She's overtuned. She does too much damage off of everything. She's mass safe. She takes, there's like no risk involved in her. Her poking is mad good because from a crouching down forward too. Unlike Asuka, she gets a full combo. Her jab punishment, low punishment, she could half wall splash you from half screen. 4-1+2 and heat is broken because it's too fast +2, and it pretty much parries everything. So she's way too overtuned, and she needs to get nerfed. You know how people say Asuka's the best character in the game? I think June is actually better than her. June is way more safe, and she could do everything Asuka do while playing Tekken and bodying you. He's just a casino nut character. The way he is kind of like do or die. If they want to make him more solid, they should make his pokes a little bit better and make it so he doesn't have to like go like just Donkey Kong Bonanza on you. So that's what they need to do to balance it. I think they just made him into like a Lucky Chloe type character where you just got to go meets out. And, you know, if you try to play solid, it's going to be hard because he doesn't really have traditional Tekken tools to, like, play straight up solid. But having a knockdown, hell sweep, and everything, he's like the god at first to twos. So he's a weird one. They will have to just make him more solid so he won't have to take big risk all the time. Jack is fine. He could play Casino. He could play Tekken. There's nothing wrong with Jack. I think he's one of the perfect Tekken 8 characters. And, yeah, he could play both Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, so he's fine. King is overtuned. 4-1+2 is broken. Down 4-2-1 is broken. Jaguar step is broken. His heat smash is broken. He's one of the best characters in the game. The muscle bustle armor is mad cheap. Yeah, he's way too strong and needs to get nerfed. He kind of plays the game for you. He's one of the cheapest characters in the game. Steve Fox has some cheap stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's balanced in this meta. You know, I don't think they need a, you know, he's one of the balanced Tekken 8 characters. He got his weaknesses and he got his strengths. So he's good. Dragunov is still overtuned. He's a perfect Tekken 8 character. He got godlike pokes. He got godlike heat. He got hit confirm 1-2-1 counter hits. His heat smash is mad good running 2. He could launch you off a -12 in heat. So he's a perfect character, man. He could just outplay you with Tekken. And then his movement is broken too. So yeah, he's way too good for this meta. Like if they nerf him a little bit, he'll be more balanced, but as of now, he's one of the best characters in the game because he could just kind of do whatever he wants and beat you. Bryan is also overtuned, quarterback 1, taunt into heat smash. He has some of the best Oki in the game. He's mass safe, godlike lows. 1 counter hit, you dead. So he definitely needs some nerfs. And yeah, he's one of the best characters in the game. He doesn't really have any weaknesses, so they have to make him a little bit more open to weaknesses. Fahkumram is perfectly balanced. The only thing that's wrong with Fahkumram, obviously anybody with a guard break is mad cheap, but other than that, you know, he's one of those characters, he's kind of a staple. Like he has his weaknesses, he has his strengths, and a lot of characters in Tekken 8 should be more like Fahkumram. But yeah, that's what I think about this video and all the characters. I think I was pretty fair in this video, so let me know what y'all think in the comments. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on my next video. Peace out, take care, and laters.